I think everybody recognized that there are giants whose shoulders they're standing on, and a story that's informing who these characters are. Yeah, it's kind of sad that we have to tear it down.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Get a kick-ass website today. I recently saw a tweet that challenged everyone to watch the new Rise of Skywalker doco, the Skywalker Legacy, saying that it was so good that it would be impossible to continue being vile against this film once you'd seen it. I don't think I was ever vile about this film, but I'm pretty sure this guy is just calling anyone who doesn't like the Rise of Skywalker and has the audacity to talk about it vile. So I thought, I'll take that challenge. I also want to see all this energy and spirit on display. For some reason, this and many other tweets and comments loving Rise of Skywalker were convinced that all the hard work shown from the crew is enough for a film to deserve praise. As if people didn't work hard on any other films, good or bad. I originally thought it would be fun to compare it to Hearts of Darkness, an amazing movie doco. I went off that idea when I realised the Skywalker Legacy was just another big ad for the visual effects team and really gave little insight into how the story came to be. Just one big pat on the back for how endless money can create eye candy. I also went off the idea when this guy used Heart of Darkness as a reference for Rey's journey.
That there would be a Heart of Darkness-y structure to the movie, and that this would be about Rey's journey to the darkest place.
Which is fucking laughable. That being said, the Skywalker Legacy did confirm several things. JJ comes across as more supervisor than passionate writer-director. The film already felt like it was written by a committee around the board table, and this so-called doco does little to help that.
The mask becomes something that's a choice. And so his putting it on, it's almost oddly...
Putting on the mask makes him feel more powerful.
If the right idea showed up, it would actually help the story. So it's helpful to look loose.
Kevin has the idea we could put the blockade runner in the middle of the cave, and that's why they're hiding out.
I understand there are cinematographers and set designers, and that the director can't do everything, but JJ feels more like a guy making a music video than someone trying to tell a story that means anything to him. We get no insight into what inspired the story, or what he feels as a filmmaker he adds to the overall direction of the franchise. Just endless shots of people showing him what they have made for him to choose from, and some of his choices are impressive.
And I just love the arrow. So you go, that's where it is.
Yes, JJ is fully responsible for the stupidest MacGuffin ever, the knife. Oh wow, Rey has zoom eyes. We can also confirm that that stupid horse charge that they did on top of a ship was done on purpose.
We had this crazy idea about doing a cavalry ground invasion on a Star Destroyer surface. That's so cool.
JJ also has some great quotes.
The idea that people of human scale can undo a machine of impossible scale definitely feels like it's a theme of this series.
Human scale. Yes, people usually are human scale, blowing up things at a bigger scale. Interesting fact, Luke was at human scale when he blew up the Death Star, which was at Death Star scale. That's not easy to say.
Impossible scale definitely feels like it's a theme of this series. In Star Wars, creatures definitely feel like a theme of this series.
So many themes, JJ, all so obvious.
You discover things that you know you need that you never would have known. That's the iron from Home Alone. See, back that? I mean, literally, isn't that crazy?
It's actually the Iron from Last Jedi, but, you know, fuck it.
Of the story of these grandchildren grappling with the same things that their predecessors had dealt with. It just felt poetic.
Kind of duplicating the Luke Skywalker role. Again, it's like poetry.
Felt poetic.
Again, it's like poetry.
Felt poetic.
Oh no, the poetry meme, and he's not even joking. I will give credit for one thing. The little time he spends on ideas he quickly makes up for with the money he can burn through. Nothing like flying to the desert and shooting on green screen.
Hey JJ, so I noticed that we're doing green screen, and he's like, so why the hell are we in the desert? And I'm like, yeah.
I know it does seem nuts to be in this location and be shooting against green screen.
Why would you build a green screen in the desert? And it's really difficult to recreate a fabulous sunny day in Jordan.
Just for the lighting. This has to be the ultimate waste of money. Bob Iger, do you know where your money's going? Backtracking. Oh yes, there's some backtracking.
JJ wanted Kylo Ren to have the helmet, yet we had to address the fact that he had destroyed it in Episode 8.
We even get JJ admitting that Rey is overpowered and they needed to come up with a reason why.
The idea that she's so crazy powerful with the Force, so quickly. For us, we always felt that there was a connection between her and something that would help explain some of these things.
Even though being related to a Force user doesn't just instantly give you skills.
I don't even have any good skills.
That's not how the Force works.
That would help explain some of these things.
Help explain some things. You mean help explain the story you wrote? My God, you're an overpaid hack.
I give George huge credit for creating Princess Leia. Certainly one of the feistiest female heroines ever in cinema.
Nice to hear her give George credit. I'm sure he's chuffed, but that seems different to the narrative you and JJ were pushing in 2015. Though this woman gets it.
Whatever you guys call 50 feet.
Autopiloting, all of us guys in a group together, off the radios, you know.
Not just guys, Stuart.
Guys is plural, it's both genders.
Uses the word guys to a room full of people and then complains about the use of the word guys. And it made it onto the bonus extras. Go, Kathy.
There's some things to gawk at.
What the fuck, me too? Is she allowed to say that? There is also very little mention of episode 8.
You're demoted.
Except for these couple of gems.
First time of it being the first time, and then the second time of everything being different, and this time it's really nice.
It's nice seeing the differences. I don't want it to feel like episode 8. It was probably nice for Mark to be more like the Luke of old, which I think JJ felt like he really wanted that. It was nice to feel, and even in the scene, to feel really comforted that, like, Luke Skywalker is here.
You know, he was a symbol of optimism, and I think that's probably the most satisfying aspect of the character.
Go away!
I come to Star Wars first and foremost as a fan, so I have extremely high expectations.
The writer that doesn't understand his own story. Chris Terrio co-wrote the screenplay with JJ. He's also responsible for this.
Kill Martha!
And this. Do you bleed? And somehow he got one of these. He really did peak early. Listening to Chris confirms that Lucasfilm is generally dead and void of ideas. Everything Chris shares with us is copied, stolen, or parroted from people with more talent. He somehow convinced JJ and Kathleen that ideas with no foundation or explanation equals story.
I think that's somewhat true.
He seems to think that if he says enough random things, no one will realise he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
We began talking about them as a mythic concept, which is in Joseph Campbell, which is the mythic dyad, that they're two parts of the same whole. If the dyad ever came together, its power would be immeasurable.
You get the feeling he's heard these words and he thinks they sound cool.
I love carpet.
He knows George mentioned Joseph Campbell, so fuck it, he will too.
The hope at the beginning of the film that Sidious articulates is that the dyad would come together on the dark side, but the reversal is that the dyad does come together, and it is as powerful as we expected, but they come together on the side of the light.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Chris, you wrote this. Chris can't even follow his own story. They are no stronger when they come together. Palpatine just takes their power for the dark side.
And it is as powerful as we expected. Its power would be immeasurable.
This immeasurable power you keep mentioning is easily measured against Rey's power and her 2 lightsabers. Rey would have had an easier time killing Palpatine if Kylo hadn't have turned up. With Kylo there, Palpatine can become Super Palpatine. Oh, fuck it. Why do I still care? Any more words of wisdom, Chris?
Each character on Exegol is really facing their greatest challenge. And so it takes great courage for Rey even to enter that place. It takes great courage for Poe and great courage for Finn.
Yes, simplistic knob. He sounds like he's just finished his first short course in writing. Academy Award-winning director explaining to be heroic, you need courage. And he's saying it like it's a new concept.
3PO is in some ways the observer of all things and the memory of the saga. It felt like it was in his DNA that one of the plots was he should lose his memory. 3PO loses his memory. It's as though the crawl would disappear because 3PO is the keeper of the story.
No, you hack. George has said many times that R2-D2 is the narrator of Star Wars. Remember R2, everyone's favourite droid? Who would be lucky to have 5 minutes of screen time across the 3 sequels? Phasma had more fucking time. They even say in the film R2 has a full backup of C-3PO's mind.
Memory restoration complete.
I love desk.
We thought, well, surely the place that they have to meet is in the throne room, which involves both of their grandfathers.
fathers,
grandfathers.
You can tell that he hasn't realised how stupid it sounds until he has to say it out loud.
There is this idea of the handing out of sabers.
Nope, no, wrong again. No handing out of sabers. The idea was to make your own.
Your skills are complete.
And the handing on of a Jedi legacy. And so we inherited the characters and the stories. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility.
Keep them coming, Chris. I love these insights.
Leia's Jedi trial happens in episode 9. The end of her path as a Jedi is fulfilled when her son turns back to the light.
Leia's Jedi trial is completed by Rey. Rey has not only taken everything from Han and Luke,
Rise Skywalker.
now she's taking over Leia's story.
Are you happy now?
This makes no fucking sense. We are told she stops her Jedi journey because it will lead to her son's death. She then says someone, Palpatine's granddaughter of all people, will continue her journey, which also leads to her son's death. She then trains Palpatine's granddaughter to be an assassin, never mentioning to Rey that she shouldn't try and kill Ben. She instead distracts Ben so Rey can attempt to kill him. In Chris's script, we are told her Jedi journey stopped here to save him, then again here to save him, and neither time worked. This guy wrote a story where Leia fails twice, never saves her son, and gets everyone killed in the process. Why does she get credit for Ben turning to the light? She had nothing to do with it. Rey does the first kind thing in years.
For the first time, someone had shown him a huge act of generosity in spite of what he had done. Someone kind of reached out when no one else had for a long time.
Leave here with me. Come home. I miss you.
Will you help me?
Yes, anything.
Someone kind of reached out when no one else had for a long time.
Ben only turns to the light because of Rey. Leia's actions would have led to his lonely dark side death.
I give George huge credit for creating Princess Leia. We couldn't let Leia not be in this story.
You really do hate George, don't you?
Really?
Princess Leia fucked up so much from this moment on that even though she could see the future, her whole family ends up dead. Chris has decided to make Leia's life a complete failure, one that Rey had to fix. Thanks, Chris.
Inherited the characters and the stories. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility.
Any other gems, Chris?
The end of this saga has to feel surprising but also inevitable. That when you look through it again, you think of course that's how it had to end. Of course that's where these characters had to go. Of course, that's how we had to leave this galaxy.
And there it is. Who on God's green earth would watch the end of Return of the Jedi, look at this film, and go, yep, there was no other place to go. I think we might have a challenger for Rian Johnson for world's biggest bell end. Thank God they hired Chris. Someone else could have got it wrong, because Chris says this is the only outcome that was possible.
And I'm what some people call mentally retarded.
What's a Star Wars? A super quick break. Don't go anywhere. To thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace lets you design the most amazing websites in minutes. It doesn't matter if you're already successful or just getting started. Be seen the way you want to be seen. Sitting home in your underwear covered in food and drink stains. The wonderful benefits of working from home. Well, no one wants to see that, especially the world. And they won't, because with Squarespace, you will look legit. Choose from any of their professionally designed templates, all of which can be customized. Add photo galleries, portfolios, or the one I use all the time, video blocks. They make my life so super easy. They look great and they are easy and quick to do, and they won't cost you a lot of money. All the things this robot looks for. Everyone does something interesting. It's time to share it with the world. Go to Squarespace for your free trial, and when you are ready to launch into the world, go to squarespace.com/robothead and you will receive 10% off your first purchase. Do it. What's a Star Wars? When you watch this doco, you feel half the people are there just to copy the original films, and the other half would be lucky to have seen the original films more than once, if at all. They are very proud of their copying skills, and seem to have little interest in having any original ideas.
Kevin has the idea we could put the blockade runner in the middle of the cave.
It was trying to link this last film all the way back with the very first film.
I don't think that'll be a problem. Every fucking thing in this film is lifted from the OT.
They are legacy items from the original films.
This remote droid is moulded from the original mould for A New Hope.
So we created complete models of the original throne room.
It's been a really fun project to bring Luke Skywalker's home back to life.
This would be all fine if they were Easter eggs to discover amongst a sea of originality, but we've seen it all before.
From the floor above down into this floor, which is where Darth Vader and Luke fought for a bit.
It's where they fought a bit. Yeah, that's one way to describe one of the most classic scenes in cinema.
What was never in the original films is a secret vault room accessed through his throne room.
You're correct. The secret room wasn't there because George didn't rely on MacGuffins to tell his story.
You see these kind of banding, which when you get really close, you understand, oh my God, one of those bands is actually the trench that Luke flies down.
Yeah, that's right. One of my favourite things to laugh at in these films is that any of the Death Stars survive this. But what turns it from funny to hilarious is that the original idea was to have the whole sphere land on the planet.
For a long time, we knew that there was going to be a moment in the story when we were going to see the Death Star. First thing we kind of wanted to do is take a look at the original model for this star.
They only stopped that idea when they were surprised by how big the Death Star is.
We came across a really big issue in that it is completely, ridiculously huge.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station. We found out that it was about 90 miles across. It's too deep to fit in the ocean. It's too tall to fit into the atmosphere. So we kind of reset. Maybe you would have just a piece of the shell with a little bit of the dish left in there to hopefully recognize it as what it is.
I love that Star Wars fans get to make Star Wars movies.
The trick, I think, is always to find some new kind of interesting angle. That in the ours was the idea that these guys had jetpacks.
Really? That's your idea?
They fly now!
And it's not just George's films they can't remember. Some don't even follow what's happening in these movies.
Ochi's ship hasn't been turned on in 30 years.
30 years? Ray saw the ship leave when she was about 6, and she ain't 36 now.
I've seen that ship before.
Plus the knife they just recovered was made after the Death Star blew up 30 years ago.
We've been talking about how to make it feel like it's 30 years of abandonment.
Not only has JJ forgotten The Last Jedi, he's also forgotten The Force Awakens. Lucky bastard. Spiderwebs. Oh, JJ. Nothing says inventive space fantasy like haunted house cobwebs. Ooh.
I think Star Wars uniquely in its mythology is about cycles of life and teachers, mentors, parents, children. It's got that generational aspect to it.
Unique in its mythology. Yeah, I don't think you've read a lot of mythology. Pretty sure all those things you mention aren't just unique to Star Wars. But don't worry everyone, she's only Senior Vice President Live Action Development and Production with Lucasfilm and is paid a fortune to develop good stories. Star Wars is in such safe hands.
I will probably always be identified as this person. I will probably be Princess Leia till I'm 85 years old. Are you happy now?
There is some nice footage of Billy Lord, Carrie's daughter, talking about her mum, but we do learn that all of Leia's shots were built and written around what she had already said in the unused footage from Force Awakens, which obviously led to some rough exchanges.
Words from Rey.
Falcon's not responding.
You have to say it like that.
Like what?
Do me a personal favor. Be optimistic.
Yes, ma'am.
Surprisingly, they don't stand out as any worse than the rest of the film.
This is terrific. You're not going to believe how well this is going to turn out. It's going to be great.
Well, I took the challenge, and I think I disliked the Rise of Skywalker a little more after watching the Skywalker Legacy. Seeing all the time, people, and money used for the visuals, and then the writing is just left to this clown, it's depressing. Maybe watch it if you like special effects, and you hate the Skywalkers, because their legacy is dead. But for some real insight, I'd watch Hearts of Darkness.
Nothing is so terrible as a pretentious movie. I mean, a movie that aspires for something really terrific and doesn't pull it off is shit.
Rise Skywalker.